It's Saturday, May 18th, 2024. It's been a really tiring few days. I've driven a lot. I've put on a lot of miles and done, a bit of bee work. It's not that bad, but we have 54 zombies here at this point. And as generous as Ian is, he's all worried about he's not going to perform well. I keep telling him, don't worry, they are what they are, and if they lay a frame of brood, that's all I need, right? Because these again are going to be put together with some queens in June, so that should be about, I'm thinking, a month away perhaps. So they should have 3 to 4 weeks. So we should almost get some emergence of what they lay after they've been placed here. But this morning, not particularly warm. It's not too bad, but boy, it's been raining a lot, which is kind of good because we had very little precipitation in the winter, and we needed moisture. So we're getting it now, and it's what we call May long weekend. It's the first long weekend of decent weather that people can go camping and whatnot. So the highway up here was really busy yesterday, and everybody heading up to Lake Country to camp out and whatnot. And it invariably at least rains all weekend, and sometimes worse. We've had ice storms and snowstorms and stuff May long weekend. So I kind of chuckle a bit. I guess it ruins the time of some people, but I work anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so we dropped these down here yesterday, late afternoon, and I don't like to open the doors because, well, first of all, it's not very warm, so they're okay just staying indoors. But the reason I don't like opening the doors right away is they've been crashing around the truck for a couple hours on the way here, and they're all agitated. And if you open the door, they just all fly out, and before they realize where they are, they're flown out, and they look at this landscape and realize, I don't remember where I parked. So then there's drifting and bearding, and they all kind of congregate on one corner or something. So wait till the next morning, and I would have been up here earlier today if the weather had been warmer and if I'd had the stamina to do so. But it's fine now. It's 16. The bees are just barely starting to fly. So I'll click these doors open. They could be a little bit cranky still, so I'm prepared. And so that's really all I'm going to do. It's not good weather for much of anything else. So I just thought I would let you know I left you hanging with these yesterday, and that video was, a week ago that you saw. And then I'll take you over here and show you what's going on in the apiary. These pro Nucs are pretty easy. It's just you just lift the entrance and it just clicks open. Usually get about 10 in before they start finding their way out and giving me a hard time. Normally I try to have pallets set out here, but I didn't get that done before the bees came in. There's a chance these might go to another yard. I haven't decided that yet. Ooh, that one's very eager. Let's see. Sometimes I don't like bending down so far. I can just tip it up a little bit. Got a knot in my back I've had for years. It's been acting up lately. These are pretty easy. Carrie was looking at these little 4-framers and she was kind of taking a liking to them. She also looked at those minis that James McAlley was using. She said she might like to try those. So I told her I'd build her a few, try out. I like these discs. They don't last a long time. I may be on 3 years of this. In the winter, I stack them on the pallet face to face so the sun doesn't hit it, because they're stored outside. They're cheap enough so when they do fall apart, they're easy to replace. I find, especially on the dip boxes, those big silver metal ones, of course they don't fall apart in the sun, but they stick to the box, so I always have to have a hive tool to kind of loosen it up from the box before I can turn it. And these, the metal ones too, but these, when robbing season starts, I can turn it so I can have just one bee width of an entrance, which is important in robbing season. Robbing, honeybee robbing, and yellow jackets and wasps and stuff. Give the colony a really small entrance that they can defend. So these I set up face to face. So that I can manage them from the back. Oh shoot. Some of them are much heavier than others. Okay, one more row. I'm going to turn this around. There's an entrance on each end. And the reason I turn it around is because the lid orientation on these it says it's vented. There's a little window here. It says vented. If you turn it around, it says no vent. And it looks like I've kind of gone the wrong way, but if they're all the same way, I don't need to actually read what's showing through that window. I can just see what side the window is on. All right. So once we're done moving the bees, I had a dozen queens to install, so we went ahead and put queens in. Most of these, there's still 6 that will get queens this coming week when they come in. So these 4 were 4 really strong splits I made out of those 8 that I got from a friend. And you can see whose name is on these. I think you know who that is. I'm very proud to have those in my apiary. I'm very excited to have them. There's one here we didn't make up because I couldn't find the queen in one of the 8 that I split. So there's a split right here above a queen excluder. And when I'm brave enough to open that up, it'll come over here. That might be tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be decent weather, Sunday. I can do that. These bees, I think these bees are cranky. Like, she's really on me. Put this hood up at least. I don't like wearing full garb. I wear it so seldom that it's just not comfortable. So you can see these. I get tired of writing the whole thing, but it doesn't matter. I put an R there. We'll know who that is. And then when I put that in 10 frames, then I'll write Randy on there. So there's a few jars here still. Jars on the good colonies are empty. And that one down there is full. I don't think that colony is much good though. We'll figure that out. So as I was making splits and transferring bees into my equipment, I just stacked Buddy's equipment here. And so I'm going to clean that up a bit and stack it on a skid, take it back to the yard, and I'm gonna wait till I can get into my sea can, get some comb. I'm gonna put some nice drawn comb in there for him as a thank you. Well, I want to return the frames at least, right? So I thought it'd be nice to put some drawn comb in there for him. That's 90 frames, right? That he's down now. So I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I'm gonna get on the tractor and see if I can get some pallets over here and put these Nucs on pallets, just so they're a little higher to manage. I like to have them, 3 pallets in a stack, I think will do. It just saves my back. Bee started beating me up. There's always got to be that one, She stung me in the forehead. Doesn't that look nice? I think that looks really nice. I love the color diversity with these Nucs. Nice and colorful. Brightens the place up. I love dip boxes, the wooden boxes that I dip. Those are great from a logistical standpoint, but they're a little trap. I got a gopher here. He's running across the yard. I was standing managing a hive the other day, making those splits, wearing my long gray pants, and I was looking down at the hive and doing whatever, and I noticed something. I thought it was the wind was blowing my pant leg, and here's this gopher fussing around at my foot. I guess we both didn't realize what was going on because in a few seconds he took off pretty fast. It's nice to be out in the wildlife, you know, that sometimes the wildlife causes some problems here. Skunks, and I have skunks here, but I don't have a lot of problems with skunks. Mice are just the bane of my existence. There's that bee back again. And bears, of course, but the bears exist outside my electric fence. And I should think they should be happy to do so, because there are alternatives, and neither one of us want to go there. I think I'm going to clean up a bit. I'm going to load my buddy's equipment on a skid and then go back to the wood shop or something. Well, the bees didn't appreciate my presence in the apiary. Only got stung about 3 times in the head. But, so today, the weather is not great. It's not currently raining, but it's supposed to rain more. So I thought I'd play indoor games. I've got a cover here that has a pending failure. So I'm just going to rip that off, glue it, and screw it on. I had some of these little ones. I'll show you. I had 4 of these little ones had that failure. So I cut it nice and straight and put a new piece because I didn't have the piece that broke off. So there's Tight Bond 3 in there, of course, and then I put a couple of screws in it, just give it some mechanical strength. I'd really like to have these dipped because of that repair. So I'm keeping them here for now. I have a buddy with a dipper, and he might be able to do that for me. So this one also, when I was cleaning up my buddy's equipment to take back, I noticed that one of his covers is coming apart. So I'm going to glue that up for him and get that all nice and repaired before I take it back. Typically I'll just cut it right off, just break it right off. That's not really snapping off, so I'll put some glue in there, and I'll put 3 screws in it. Got a little overboard with the glue. A little overboard. Kind of wasteful. That's expensive glue too. And enough glue in there for both projects. So that'll go down there nicely. Okay, that's ready to go back in service. Well, when the glue dries. Yikes. Okay, so are these shims stapled on here? There they are. Staples right there. Looks like to me it's a 1/2-inch shim on a 1/2-inch backing. And I don't know how well the glue will work because it's a wax dipped piece. The staples are still there. Put a little bit of glue in that. A little bit. Not like last time. There's no glue in that from the factory. That's why it came off. Look. I can pull that right off. That's tight enough. I could clamp that. I don't think I'm going to put staples in it. It's pretty thin to put a screw in. You could put a screw in that and then take it out because it would protrude. Now this is good. It'll stay on there now. Something else came in the mail yesterday. I always like to see a box from Lee Valley show up. It's my second break this season. Oh boy, yeah, $155.68, and that's with free shipping. And that's not Lee Valley. You say Lee Valley's expensive. Lee Valley really isn't expensive. If Lee Valley has something that's expensive, it's because it's high quality stuff. You know, it's not cheap Chinese garbage that we get everywhere else. And those brakes are a consistent price across the board pretty well. It's Sunday, May 19th, 2024. I did get some rest yesterday. I actually took a nap in the afternoon. I got a little bit of bee work done and puttered in a wood shop here a little while and then got some rest. So today I'm back at it. I'm raring to go actually. Really motivated to get some things done. However, the place is a lake again. It rained so hard yesterday and last evening that I certainly can't take the tractor or vehicle anywhere. And I want to go to the bee yard, so I might even be wearing my boots. We'll see. Because there's one split that I didn't complete the other day. And so I want to take that split. I just moved the brood over a queen excluder because I couldn't find that queen, so I just moved it up. And I just want to move that split off to its own box. And leaving it a few days, you know, is not a bad idea, because when you make a split, you always have a situation where you take a split off a colony, move it to a different box, and you have a situation where now you've made a queenless colony, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, hey, we need a queen, we're going to start some queen cells. If they have age-appropriate brood, which they often do, if you're just kind of taking brood frames. So if you take brood frames out of a brood chamber and move them above the queen excluder, shake the bees off, because if you don't know where the queen is, shake the bees off. If you know where the queen is, that's fine. Just make sure she's in the bottom box. Put a queen excluder over that bottom box. Replace the frames with, you know, drawn comb preferably in there. Put a second box on that. Put your chosen brood frames above. Now, if you wait, I don't know how many days you have to actually wait, but I think it's about 5. If you wait about 5 days, then the brood above that queen excluder will have timed out, and there won't be brood young enough to make rogue cells. So then you can take that split off into your split box, your nuke box, or whatever you're using for housing that split, and then they won't be able to make rogue cells. Queen acceptance is really good, and you don't have to worry about a emerged virgin killing your expensive queen that you just bought. So that's what I have to do to this one. I didn't do that to all of them because I'm still waiting for 6 of those queens. So I could have done that for 6 of them. But I will have the opportunity to go out there and check for rogue cells in those 6. before I put my mated queen in there. But I could have done that with those 6, but I didn't do it because I found the queen. I just made the splits. So I'll have to do queen check on those 6 before the mated queen goes in. But this one should be okay. So anyway, hopefully good enough nice weather for that. It's supposed to rain all week. We've got a really nice dandelion crop going out there, but the bees can't fly. It's not even that warm. It's only about 12 degrees out there, maybe 14. And that's why I'm not out there moving that split, because I don't like working bees in the cold for me or their sake. Well, for my sake, because they get grumpy. So hopefully it'll warm up a little bit today and I'll go out later and just move that split. It's not going to take me very long, and I'll run the smoker and stuff. So in the meantime, I'm like I say, I'm raring to go here. So I'm all rested up. I'm going to work in the wood shop here for a little bit. I've had a situation, and a light bulb came on here a couple of weeks ago. I want to make some honey frame storage pallets, and you've seen me make my 2-way pallets, and they're 33.5 inches wide by about 21 3/4, 21 5/8 deep. So what I want to do is I want to make a pallet that's twice that. So I want to make it 33.5 wide, and I want to make it 40.5 deep, so that I can put a cube of 4 on there, because with my little tractor, again, don't forget, it doesn't lift a lot of weight. It lifts 500 pounds. I can lift 20 of those. So I can lift a cube of 4 and 5 high with my little tractor, and that's stable. The biggest thing about it is it's stable. It doesn't rack around, and because the boxes are oriented the way they are, it becomes very stable. And I can put my pallet clips on those as well to help stabilize the boxes so they don't slide off, because it's sized just perfectly. And I think that's going to help me out a lot. I don't need a lot of these, right? I run 200 to 300 honey supers, so 10 of these is going to do it. 10 or 15 of these is going to be all I need. I was talking to my dipper when I was there, and he said that yeah, they could actually dip that pallet. So it'd be really nice if I had 10 or 12 of those built by the time I went there again. I'm going there again, I don't know, maybe in a couple of weeks or so. And so it'd be nice to take 10 or 12 of these along with me and get them dipped up. So today's wood shop day. And this is a little bit bigger project, so I got the table saw cleared off, and I'm going to be cross-cutting some plywood, etc. And we'll get into it here. And before I do anything, I need to install my new blade brake. It's a little different installing it with the blade, but so this is my demo brake that I've been using. It only runs for a couple of minutes. It's really nice I have it. Otherwise I'd have to have one of these in stock. That's $155, I think. So probably one of the biggest complaints about a saw stop is the buying these brakes. I see a difference in this brake. I think it's just a revision difference. And this one says revision 2 version 6. So this is what I'm accustomed to seeing. And the difference I notice is in this capacitor. There's a big giant capacitor here. You can see that. So the new brake, it looks the same. It says revision 3 here. Revision 3, revision A, I guess. And it has 4 capacitors here. So I don't know exactly why they would do that. Knowing what I know about electronics, they might be getting a faster discharge. out of 4 parallel capacitors than they do out of 1. So that's just a guess. It's nice that they're always trying to improve things. Problem is, the improvements are far too often driven by bean counters, and they're not improvements on the customer side. And I'm not talking just about SawStop. That's how the world works. When the bean counter's in charge, the only thing that improves is the bottom line, but not for very long, because the company soon declines because their product or services turn into garbage and nobody wants them. Bean counters have destroyed a lot of companies. So I'm not a big fan when the bean counters are in charge. You need people who are passionate about a business to run a business. You know, that's when you get great companies, great products. You look at what's happening to Boeing. That's exactly what happened to Boeing. The bean counters got put in charge in the 80s. I also have some leftover pieces here because I'm making this pallet 33.5 wide. Then my existing 33.5 wide runners will go right on there. So what I need to do now is I need to take my 2x4s and cut them at 40.5. I only need 3 pieces of that. I'm only cutting 3, but it's easy to set the stop block on the saw, so I'll do that. I can put the 2x4s right in it and just do everything exactly the same as building a 2-way pallet. Yeah, that's going to work nice. It's a very windy day in the bee yard. It's warm. It's 20 C. There is just water everywhere in the yard. I could hardly walk here in my shoes. Fortunately, this is fairly high ground. It drains well, so I can walk around in here, and the grass is dried off by now. So this unit right here is the one I'm after today. As mentioned, I didn't find the queen when I was making splits, so I just put the split above there over a queen excluder. I shook all the bees off, and then they just would percolate through the queen excluder and onto the frames again. So I need to take those frames off, and there's a split box here that doesn't have anything in it, nothing to speak of anyway. And yeah, so that's it. So I'm braving these bees in shorts and a t-shirt now. So we'll see if they chase me out of here. They've been pretty mean to me so far. So we'll see what happens here today. Seeing a lot of orange, I think, orange pollen coming in. Dandelion flow hit, and they started building comb in here because I didn't fill the box. I really didn't anticipate waiting quite this long, and we're not typically on a flow, but they have told me otherwise. There's a nice lobe of comb right there. There's probably another one on this side. Yeah, a little one. Okay, I'll deal with that when we're done the split. Okay, now don't smoke them too much because you don't want to smoke the bees off the frames. I'm just gonna go open up the other hive. Okay, these are the 4 brood frames that I want, but I put an extra 2 so that they would fill up both sides of that frame. But I can also take these have some bees. They're putting some of that dandelion flow in there. So I've got 6 frames I can take. From my experience, if I'm careful, I can carry 2 at a time fairly reliably. I can actually carry 3 at a time, but I'm going with 2 right now. All right, there we go. And because this is over a queen right colony, they have no reason to create rogue cells, so I don't really need to do a cell check, and I'm not going to do that right now anyway. Looks like some nice brood frames here. Look at that nice brood frame there. Hope you could see it. It's just hard to hold. Funny they built all that comb, but it's not fresh white comb. It's yellow. It's repurposed. They're sure in anticipation, and there's nothing in it. They're just building it because there was space to build. That's what bees will do. All right. Okay, these are pretty strong, although I've really knocked them back. It won't be too long before they'll get a double. And these 2, these are also splits made that same day. There are 6 in all. So what I want to do with these is, oh, you know what? I got an R there. That means I put a queen in that. Don't want to disrupt those. So certainly something I can see right away is these hives didn't depopulate. And I was talking about that when I brought them here, that they were not only moved probably 40 miles, 35, but it was a cool day, and they hadn't been outside in a while, so they had completely forgotten where they live. And what I want to do is just to check for rogue cells, and I only really have to check the brood frames. But in order to do a thorough rogue cell check, you need to shake the bees off. They can cover those cells up pretty easily. Emergency cells aren't very big. I've got a couple of little cups at the bottom. Nothing in them. And here's something. Yeah, see, they started one there. There's a whole bunch here. I don't know if you can see that. Right here by my thumb, there's a whole row of them. You don't have to dig them out. Just mash them if you want. Some down here. You just don't want them getting any ideas, making a virgin and then having that virgin kill your expensive queen that you just put in there. That would not be good. And they'll typically be kind of in a pattern because that's where the appropriately aged larva was that they could choose to make a queen with. I don't know why I move my hive tool around like that. Helps me to focus on it, I guess. Okay, so that's good. Some open larvae there. Oh, almost missed one. See those little cells they've got going? You could easily miss those. Okay, there might be one more frame of brood here. No. So that was a 2-framer. We've got some good flight among the zombies today. That's really nice to see. These are actually pretty good. I wasn't really expecting them to be quite this good. Wow. I don't have my hive tool, but I'll show you these two if I can. So again, these are meant to be just a resource, a laying queen, something that'll give me some brood to add a queen to in about a month. And the intention is to actually combine 2 of these with 1 queen. So I put some heavy feed frames in these, and then look at that. That's a really nice frame of brood. Holy smokes! And he doesn't mark queens, so they won't be marked. Yeah, boy, that's a lot. And then there's the frames again that I left. There's one. This was an empty drawn comb frame, and they filled it with pollen and some nectar. So that's pretty awesome. Boy, I'm happy with this. He sure went above and beyond on my behalf. He doesn't do what I call zombies, so he was always thinking, oh, they're not very good, they're not strong enough. For a zombie, they're fine. So that's again the drawn frame that I left. There's eggs and a little bit of pollen, a bunch of nectar. Oh, that's beautiful. She laid that up. So again, nice brood frame there. There's a pink marked queen here. I guess some of the queens that he bought were marked. So that's her. I don't know the origin of that queen. And this is a feed frame that I put in there when I sent them over. Yeah. I'm sure there's some that aren't maybe quite this robust, but that's okay. This is It's going to give me what I need to make my splits, make my colonies later on. Very nice. There's inevitably drift. This is likely drift. And again, these are zombies, so it doesn't really matter. I could move that somewhere over, move that green one over here, for example. Doesn't take long when the sun goes behind a cloud for the activity to wane. It's nice to be out working the bees again. Yeah, this is my happy place, my apiary. Now that it has bees in it, it's a much happier place. Okay, I think I'll go back to wood shop and at least cut up some material for more of those pallets. I'd really like to have those done and take them out next time I go to the dipper and get them dipped up so I can use them this season for my honey supers. So thanks for watching. It's Tuesday, May the 21st, 2024. So yesterday, I worked on my pallets, my honey super pallets, most of the day, and it was nice to spend some time with my wife. She was off work. This Monday, yesterday, was what we call a federal holiday, stat holiday, they call it in Canada. And so by that measure, Monday fell on a Tuesday this week. So today, you can see I'm all wet here. I'm covered in gunk. So today I'm dealing with this melter. And in this melter is all those foundations that I culled out last summer. I culled out the frames, melted the wax, pulled the foundation, stacked it up, and now I have to deal with that. And it's worth my while because there's about $1,300 worth of foundation there. So it is worth my while. Foundation's getting around the area of $2 a sheet now. And so here's my raw foundation that I pulled last summer, and it's been sitting all winter. It's just a sticky, gunky mess. So what I did was I put it in my melter here, and I put half a box of washing soda in there. So this is sodium carbonate. It's washing soda. It seems to it seems to really loosen up wax and propolis, and it is by nature quite benign to the environment, so it's not a really harsh solvent or anything for in that regard. So I'll show you what's in there. I've been running that at 60 degrees C. I didn't mean to run it quite so long, but it's been in there for, I don't know, a week and a half. So I'll show you what's in there. Okay, so obviously it floats. There seems to be some wax coming off it, although it's not hot enough to melt the wax. So I don't know, maybe the washing soda does sort of dissolve the wax. And so these are just a really disgusting mess now. And so I'm bringing them over here to the sink, and I'll show you what I do here. Now there's a lot of ways people do this. I'm using my little Karcher pressure washer here, Nice little unit. Didn't cost me much, and it's working really well. It's very, very portable. It's not as powerful as the big gas pressure washer I have, but far more convenient, and it's powerful enough for this job. Now, I've done this before, and I've just set up outside and whatnot, and that works great. I'm not too concerned about splattering gunk in the building here because I can wash everything. But this way, all the water escapes. When I did it outside, it was just a matter of my feet getting all wet, and at least from here down, I'm dry and fairly clean. From there up, it's a different story. So I just wash them off, and then I've just got a bucket of cold water here just to rinse the remainder of the residue and the junk off of them. So you can see that's pretty clean. It does a really nice job. So I'll set these out to dry. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but I'll set these out to dry, and then those will need to be re-waxed and put back in the frames. And I prefer to put them in the frames and then re-wax them. So maybe I'll put them in the frames to let them dry, because that'll then space them out. But I wanted to wash my frames too, so I'm not sure that'll work. Anyway, I'll demonstrate to you what I'm doing here, but my microphones and camera and stuff, you know, could get all messy and wet, and I'm not a big fan of that. I can't position the camera so you can see it, I'm sorry, because what I've discovered is I first tried to lie them right in the bottom, lay a couple of them in the bottom of the sink and wash them, and everything came straight at me, straight at my face, straight at my body. You can see how my shirt's all wet. And then I discovered that if I hold it to the side, it has to be against something because of the power of the pressure washer. And if I hold it aside and then wash like this, that works really well. All the gunk kind of goes on that way, and I don't get a lot of it on myself. I'm using a it's a 0 degree nozzle, and I don't think these are even legal in every jurisdiction because they shoot out a very high pressure, thin stream of water, and that can cut you really bad. So you don't ever want to get your hand or any part of your body in front of any pressure washer, least of all a 0 degree. And so the magic of this one, because it's so big, the reason it's so big is that when I pull the trigger, it goes around in a circle. So I'll demonstrate that to you here. So you can see how that comes out in a cone. It goes around and around. So that's really nice. And I've just been doing this. And you can see how that's taking that stuff off really nicely. Now, I know there's people going to say, why do you bother? Well, a couple of reasons. That is closing in $2 for that sheet. But I think more importantly than that, one of my favorite things about plastic foundation, and this doesn't go for plastic frames, this goes for plastic foundation, is that if something goes wrong, it's usually not the foundation, it's usually the frame. You break the frame or something happens, and you can take that comb and or foundation, in this case, put that in a new frame, or fix the frame, clean the frame, put it back in. And the point being, this doesn't end up in the dump. And I think that's very important. And I don't lose my investment. If I wax foundation, then it's gone. It's I need to either make more, or I need to buy more. So I like that this stuff lasts, you know, I'm going to say almost indefinitely, if it doesn't get warped really bad. If it warps, it warps this way, right? It'll warp that way. So that's kind of a problem, because if it's warped this way a little bit, then the top and bottom bars keep it straight, but there's nothing to keep them straight on the side. So I just throw that into my rinse water here, and once that's full, then I'll deal with that. So I just keep going here. I'm going to be at this for about 10 or 11 years, but we'll get her done. Oops. I just like to keep that surface clean, because it gets stuff on it, and then I put my clean surface against it, then it gets dirty again. So that's what I'm starting today with. It's Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. Got a little paper bag here, and there's 6 Carniolan queens there that were produced by Ray Oliveras in California. And I'm about to put those cages in 6 of these nucs that I created. Now these are the nucs that I did cell checks the other day, and but there's 2 that I hadn't, so I'm going to have to do some rogue cell checks on those 2 before I put those cages in. That's fine. I don't like to stir up the hive when they've got a new queen, but a caged queen, you know, they can't harm her, so that's just fine. I didn't get any candy plugs with these. These are California minis, and I didn't get any candy plugs, so I think I'll leave the cork in them for maybe a couple of days, and then I'll take the cork out. There's a little bit of candy in them, but there's only about a day's worth of candy in them. So I think that's what I'm going to do with those. Now the last couple of days, actually today, I had to go out and do a bunch of deliveries, and you know, while I was out, I picked up these queens, and previous to that, I've mostly just been washing that foundation. It's very slow going. It's producing a very nice product, but again, it's slow going, so it's going to take me a long time to do that. You may notice some dandelions here. This is just a smattering of what I've got going. I'm looking here beyond the camera. There's a really nice dandelion crop going on here, and I'm very, very happy to see that. I am always happy to see that in the spring. Give the bees some early nectar, keep them going. They say the dandelion pollen isn't the most nutritious thing there is, but hey, it's something, right? And they've actually been collecting a lot of pollen otherwise, so there's quite a bit of pollen in these colonies. At least last time I looked, there was. So let's get at these queens. So this is how they come. They're called a California mini cage. I think the big difference between a California mini and the other ones, you see the other ones that have 2 or they have 3 large holes drilled, it seems to me, by a Forstner bit, is those cages are larger and they can hold more candy. These have a little candy tube that you stick in here. You take the cork out and you put a tube of candy in it. They didn't have any of that, and I actually do, but it's been sitting in my freezer so long, I'm sure it's more like cement than it is like candy. So we'll just go with this. Get one of these. A lot of these cages, they have a nice little metal tab, but some of these, the metal tab is missing. Not sure why. There's a nice black carniolan in there. She doesn't look very big, so she's probably been in this cage a while and has not been laying for a while. Okay, so here's my queenless split, and this one's already been self-checked, so I didn't start the smoker yet. Maybe I'm going to regret that. So I'm just going to put this cage, I've got the wrong hand here, there's a drone. I'm just going to put this cage right here. There's a bunch of drones in here. Why is that? I'm going to put it with the screen down so they can touch that queen and take care of her. I'll put this lid back on. I've already marked these with Ray. I'll do another one in like fashion. The bees seem quite animated today. They've been cooped up. It's been so cold. It's been very cold. I'm sure they've been really wishing they could get out and take advantage of that dandelion flow. Look at the heat coming out of there. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's do 4 more to go. It's kind of funny. I have a sort of a naming convention in my apiary on my covers. And that is just generally 2 letters with the initials of the person or the place where I got the queens. You know, FA for Faith Apiaries, that kind of thing. But this one says Ray, because that's Ray Oliveira's. And on this one says R, but it could say Randy, because I can't put RO, because they're both RO. Ray Oliveira's and Randy Oliver. So that's the deal with that. There's another black queen there. She's moving around. Just like to see her move around. I don't want to put a dead queen in the hive. These queens come a long ways, so sometimes the stress of traveling doesn't suit them well. I made a big one here that says Ray. That one's not quite as black. She's a deep yellow, almost sort of orange. Put those cages down so the sun doesn't shine in there. I need to cell check these. I'm not sure if I'm going to regret not starting the smoker. I might. As a proper cell check, you have to shake the bees off. Get some flying. Lots of open brood here. Yeah, see, there's a cell there. Oops. Hope you can see that. It's actually capped, which is surprising. I didn't do the math, but I didn't think we were that far along. Wonder if that was a swarm cell. It sure looked like it, didn't it? Way down low like that. Yeah, there's some cells right down the bottom there. Now this is kind of nice to see because this is brood from one of my overwintered colonies, one of my few surviving overwintered colonies. So I should go through that again because I don't want them to swarm. Goodness, that would be terrible at this point. It's 3 frames in this. Oh, stinging me in the arm. Those are just cups. Those aren't cells. Cups are really nothing, in my opinion. There's some cells. So we don't want those. If they develop, they could emerge and kill my Rail of Air's queen. That would be highly unfortunate. So we will take said queen. See if I can get a bead on her. There she is. Now, I don't really know. Maybe you can tell me what's the intention of this little tab. Because if I put it in this way, the cage is going to be toward the frame. So what I did with the others is I just sort of bent it sideways to help the cage stay, you know, it gets pinched in there anyway, so there's no likelihood of it falling down really. So maybe you can tell me what the intention is with the California minis. I know there's no brood on that frame. I made these splits, so I kind of know what's in them. So here's some cells. Oh, there's a bee in my veil. She wasn't even crawling on a veil, she was crawling on my face. Crazy bees. Okay, there's cells at the top here. They're not that easy to see, so if you're not shaking the bees off, boy, taking a risk. So that's good. I don't know if there's one more brood frame. Might be. Yeah. There's cells here. They're often around the outside where the younger larva is. At least where the younger larva was. Okay. That one back in. My last Woodenware's queen. Yeah, I think she's moving around in there. Just put her right there. Well, the apiary is shaping up. It's really, really nice to see. I am always reminded of the generosity of the people around me. it's gonna get even more full. Actually, a lot of the bees that I'm getting this year aren't even going to come here. They'll go straight to my outyards. And I think I'm going to split them between 2 outyards this year, because there's 50 nukes coming from someone else on an arrangement. It's kind of a loan. So I think I'll move those, because I'll be moving them from a distance. It would be a good time to just move them right to the outyard. So all I really need to do is prepare the outyard with pallets. So if I put, say, 30 at one yard and 20 at another yard, then I'll just take half that many pallets, and 15 pallets and 10 pallets, and set them on the pallets when I bring them in. And then I can go back later with 10 frame boxes and 5 more frames of comb and outfit those, because they're going to grow up to be honey producers. That's going to be my crop this year. I mean, there's going to be a lot of crop here too, but those are going to make up a substantial part of the crop that I receive this year. I don't know what more I'm going to do here right now. I'd really like to wash more foundation, but it's such a nice day. I might get together some of those pallets that I was just talking about, so I can take those to the outyards soon and have that ready. I'm not sure when I'll get those nukes. I don't think it's going to be next week, so I have some time yet. So it's just a matter of getting equipment together. Time-consuming part is getting the appropriate frames, you know, whether I'm using dead-out frames or drawn comb frames that I have in storage. That's time-consuming. Go through boxes and outfit each brood chamber with the kind of frames that I want. I've got a lot of drawn combs, so I want to, you know, leverage that to make these colonies grow fast. And we need warm weather for these colonies to grow. Boy, it's not warm. You can't tell, but you can see that I'm not wearing short pants, so you can tell it's not hot. It's not even really warm. I think it's 17°C out here, and a bit of a wind, north wind. That's the cold wind. And so, you know, we got all these beautiful dandelions, but it's so cold that the bees are hardly out, which is a real shame. By the time it gets warm, the dandelions will be done flowering. Well, that would be a shame. But anyway, I'm going to do some of that work, and thanks for watching. We'll catch up later. It's Friday, May the 24th, 2024. I told you that happens every month. It does. So today is raining cats and dogs. My goodness, we've gotten a lot of rain lately. Wow. It's just a lake outside, and it's going to rain all day, and I think maybe most of the night. I don't know what to think of this. I'm just looking out the big door here. Just incredible. I was supposed to get a little reprieve on Sunday, which is good, because on Sunday I need to go to my apiary and do a rogue cell check on the Randy Oliver queen splits I made. I didn't check those when I put the queens in. I really should have. It was just one of those things. It was at the end of a really long day. I don't want to get these queens in, but I guess I shouldn't have done that. A quick cell check isn't that hard on a split that's got 2 or 3 frames of brood. So that's a bit of regret. So Sunday now I have to do the cell checks with fresh queens in there. Not what I like to do. I like to leave fresh queens in their hives for a couple of weeks without disturbing them. The bees tend to get jumpy, and they can kill your queen if you you know, disturb them too much. And you know, like I was saying, I like to shake the bees off the frames to do a cell check. Well, you can't do that when you got a fresh queen in there. You get the bees all stirred up, and bye-bye queen. So hopefully I can find any cells that are present. Now, a lot of the times when you put a queen in too, the bees will say, oh, well, we got a laying queen here. We don't need these cells, and they'll just get rid of them, but not always. And they don't get rid of all of them. They might get rid of some of them. So there's no guarantees there. So anyway, today is raining like crazy outside. So instead of being outside getting wet, I'm gonna be inside getting wet. I'm just gonna wash more of this foundation. This is slow going. This is slow going. I've washed this much. There's about 150 sheets in there. Doesn't sound like much until you turn it into dollars. You know, that's $300. So I've got another tote here I'll wash up and start to fill up too. It seems to fit in there pretty nicely. So yeah, 150 sheets in there. So that means I got about 500 sheets to go. This is going to take me all summer, I can tell. And it's going to tie up my melter because the next batch sits in the melter while, you know, I'm washing up the previous batch. So what's left of the previous batch is actually in this tub. It's not hot, but it's got washing soda in it. And it's just sitting there. I got some bricks on top to hold them down. And then there's, of course, the melter is full. Bricks on top to hold that down. And then this is the balance. So this is about, there's a lot of story frames. There's a lot of story frame foundations here. They seem to warp, but I think I can fix that in the melter. Warm it up and then let it cool under a weight. So the foundations, I don't know. It's only about this much foundation. So there may be another one batch of full foundations and then some story frames in the melter. But that's still a lot. I haven't finished washing the first batch in the melter. It just takes a long time. And, you know, you get busy in the summers. You don't really have time for this kind of thing, but it's just one of those projects I committed to. I've got a lot of work into it, so I'm not motivated to stop now, right? And just looking at the water outside. Crazy. I wanted to plant some seed this spring. I wanted to do a garden, but you know, we're a week past that now. So I'm not sure how late I can plant garden, but it's going to be a while because we're going to get more rain next week. It's just unbelievable. So anyway, I'll stop complaining. I'm not really complaining. It just, you know, you get a little bit of reprieve from the rain and you think, okay, let's go. And then it's not even very warm. The bees haven't been out. I've got a great dandelion crop. The bees haven't been out. It's either raining or cold. Oi, quite the May. If this turns around and we get warm weather in June, stuff is going to happen really fast. I mean, the grass is growing. The grass is a foot high now. We need to get that cut. But I don't want to cut the dandelions, right? So it's tough. All right, I'm going to get washing this stuff and I'll let you go for now. Thanks for watching this week, and hopefully I got something more next week to show you. I'll show you those cell checks on Sunday. I'll show you what's going on there and see how those Randy Oliver queens are doing. So, as always, take care, have fun with your bees, and thanks again for all the support. I really appreciate it. Have fun.